future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Broadcasting live from the UBN studios in Hollywood, California. Well, actually calling into Hollywood from his own little corner of Northeast Ohio. It's the Left of Str8 Show with your host, Scott Fullerton. Join us for fun talk and celebrity interviews, exploring the worlds of entertainment, foodies, and books. He's not off his rocker, just a little left of straight. Now, here's your host, Scott Fullerton.
Well, welcome everybody. Another Left of Str8 Show. So happy to have you here. It is Monday, January 25th. Calling in from beautiful Northeast Ohio here to our buddies Chris in the station in LA. Chris, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for asking.
No problem. Glad to have you aboard, my friend. How was your weekend?
It was great. It was a really good weekend. Just got some new work over at Paramount Studios, so it was good to see the facilities and get to know everyone over there and start some new relationships in work. So it was a good weekend.
Sweet. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It was a big break.
That is very cool. We'll have to hear all about it as time goes on here. We can't lose you, though. Got to have my favorite engineer.
Oh, thank you.
But good luck to that's so cool. Well, I had a big weekend this weekend. We'll talk about in just a couple of seconds. Today, we're going to have a great show. My first guest, if you guys don't listen to your little promos that I send out, and you should. Everyone knows I have been promoting Margaret Cho to be on this week, but she had to do some filming today, so I was very grateful that our guest scheduled next week, David Cruz from Finding Cupid, was able to switch with her. So David's on today. So excited to talk to him. We're getting close to Valentine's Day, and Margaret Cho will be on next Monday on the show. But I'm so excited to talk to David today. He has his own Finding Cupid radio show here right on UBN. Have you worked with him yet, Chris?
No, I haven't.
Oh my goodness, great guy. Are you dating anyone right now?
No.
Well, see, you got to get there. If I was an engineer at UBN and I was single, I would be all over being on his show because he sets up guys, girls, everybody. He'll find you somebody.
Oh, okay.
And his big claim to fame was on the Millionaire Matchmaker show. He may be able to find you someone that has a little something.
Okay, I did not know that. That was good to know.
You need to get to his show. I'm telling you, he's a great guy, and I'm so excited to have him on in just a little bit. My weekend, I had a huge weekend this weekend. I went down to Columbus, Ohio, which is about a 3-hour drive from where I'm at in Northeast Ohio. So lucky that big snowstorm that blanketed. Well, you don't have regular TV. You don't have cable. Did you see on regular TV all the snowstorm that was going on, Chris?
I saw on social media, actually.
It was crazy. There was like 2 feet to 3 feet of snow everywhere, and it just barely skimmed us. It hit a little bit of Pittsburgh, which is about an hour east of me. But I was really worried because I had this plan to go down to Columbus for about a month and a half now, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the storm at first. But luckily for me, unfortunately for the East and Mid-Atlantic there, it kind of stopped right at the Ohio line, so I was able to get down to Columbus so good. But I really think we have a lot of great people listen to our show over in New York and Washington, D.C., and my brother lives in North Carolina, so really thinking of everyone that had to go through all of that. So glad that everyone came out relatively safe on there, and we're just thinking of everybody trying to plow out from 3 feet of snow. That's just crazy. But for myself, very, very lucky. I got to go down to Columbus this weekend. It's our state capital. But Columbus actually has its own gay hockey league. It's called COGLAHA, which is the biggest acronym I've ever heard of. And it stands for Columbus, Ohio Gay Lesbian Ally Hockey Association. People from all over. And they had their Pride Night. It was their 4th annual Pride Night on this past Saturday night. fantastic afternoon. Started at 3:30 in the afternoon, went to around 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night. We had just a great time. The Gay Hockey League got to promote their new uniforms. They are being sponsored by one of the local casinos, actually, in Columbus. Got these great new uniforms. They put on an exhibition game at 3:30 in the afternoon. Had a great team. They kind of broke their team in half and had the white shirts versus the dark shirts. And it was a great game. It was a tie 3-3 at the end of 3 periods. They had to go into sudden death overtime. And this awesome girl did the winning goal to let the white team win at the very end, 4-3. So it was a great exhibition. You're a big hockey fan too, right, Chris?
Yeah, big Tampa Bay Lightning fan. I'm from Florida, so
nice.
that's where that comes from. But yeah, that sounds like a great game. Did it go to a shootout or just sudden death?
They did a sudden death at the end. They just went and did a 5-minute for whoever got the first goal in at the end of the 3 periods. So it kind of went around for about 2.5 minutes, and this one girl just kind of knocked it right in there. It was awesome. So cool to see. They're actually going to do another Pride Night with the Columbus team, which I believe is Columbus Blue Jackets. That's coming next month. But started off with this exposition game. That was a lot of fun. Then they had an expert panel they put together called Coming Out in Sports. And it was a bunch of current and previous Ohio State University alumni that had either come out while they were in school or afterwards or before, and talking about how it was for them to be in the sports world. And it was moderated by this Brooke Cardis. Never met her before. She is freaking hilarious. One of the funniest women I've known. She is a lawyer. She just graduated from law school and a comedian. Lesbian, funny as heck. She kind of moderated this whole debate, kept it going really fun. And then we had 3 panelists on there. We had Ryan Hines, who came out in high school and played high school sports. He's gone to Ohio State now, and he's not playing sports in school, but he's doing sports and marketing and learning the other side of the business. So that's kind of exciting stuff. He's learning that things. And then we had the other person that came on was Mike Puccillo. He came out after college. He was on the wrestling team, and he kind of talked about what it was like to be in the locker room and kind of still be closeted and what he went through for there. And then they had Nikki Becks, she's a girl who's on the school rowing team. And she was talking about how it was a little bit easier for her as a lesbian to come out. They actually had 3 openly gay coaches on her crewing team. So it was a really nice panel. And I'm going to actually have all 4 of them on an upcoming show. So that's going to be awesome. Because I'm not really a sports ball person, but it's going to be really fun to have those guys on. And then they went on after we had the panel. They had a great buffet for everybody that came down. And then the Ohio State University Buckeyes hockey team went against Penn State. Not quite as big a rival as Michigan State, but Penn State's still a pretty big rival. And Ohio State won handily 5-1. So it was a great night. All right, so what else we have going? Oh, I also went while I was down there. They have a LGBT radio station. It's an internet station that serves primarily Columbus. They're available anywhere on the internet, all over the country, but they primarily just host different people coming out of Columbus. So they have invited by some great people that run the station. Jared is the owner. Clayton is one of his supervisors and programming guys there. They have a show they do every week called Curiosity, and they invited me on a guest, and it was probably the most risque show I've ever seen. He's kind of like a Howard Stern kind of guy, this Clayton. It was very interesting, Chris. I'm usually a pretty demure guy. It was a little interesting, though. But you can definitely check them out at truefmonline.com for Columbus's gay radio station. It was pretty exciting stuff. So that was always kind of fun. It was just a great weekend down in Columbus. Drove back this morning, actually this afternoon, and so I'm a little underprepared for today, but we're going to have a great show with David. I don't barely need anything with him. He's just so awesome. If you're in the chat room, say hi to us. We have David is the love guru, all about love and relationships today. If you have any questions for us, you can definitely put it in the chat room. I see we have our buddy Paul in there. We got Maddie on. Hope you all come join us in the chat room today, and we'll have a good old time today with David in just a little bit. Couple other things going on. I want to announce, I get to finally announce this. It's been in the works for a while. But in 3 weeks, starting on Thursday, February 18th, I'm going to be starting a third night of the Left of Straight radio show. Going to be a little different. I'm really enjoying my Mondays and Tuesdays are all about our entertainment, foodies, and books. Starting Thursday the 18th, I'm going to be teaming up with one of my past guests, Kevin Hogan, who created a healing stigma organization.
Oh, we got David calling in. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
is David calling in?
Yeah.
Hey, I want all the time I can with him. We'll try to get to this at the end. Why don't you go ahead and play David's intro video? We have him do a little craft segment, believe it or not, and we'll be back with David in just a moment, okay?
All right.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Cruz, and welcome to the Summer of Love. I'm going to be collaborating exclusively with my friends here at Sizzix to be bringing you projects inspired by all things love and my website, Finding Cupid. So gather everyone that you know. This is going to be the most amazing few weeks of projects that are inspired by all things love. It's time to get crafty, so grab your friends and stay tuned. So the first project we're going to create today is a basic love greeting card. Now, of course, you can use all of the things that you learned today as a basic recipe. Now, remember this, I always create a lot of my projects around simple things, what I call recipes, that you can use over and over again, whether it's a love card or a holiday card or a birthday or an anniversary card. Use this many times over. All of the things that you learned today are very versatile and you can use at any point during the year. So for this love card, what I'm going to do is use the Sizzix Big Shot, which is one of my favorite tools, and I'm going to take these really cool things, and these are called Thinlit dies. And this one in particular has negative space with this really cool graphic design with the word love and this heart here. And we're going to use that to create the front of our card. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take our magnetic platform and I'm going to make a Sizzix sandwich. I'm going to put my cutting pad here, and then you're going to take your paper, which is, or any material that you're going to use, and then put your die cut down on top of that. And you can see how really cool that is because of the magnetic piece underneath here. It will never move no matter how many times you mess around with it. So I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to put our top cutting pad and then run it through the Big Shot. So as I run it through, you're going to hear a little snap, and that means it's cutting through your paper. And then it is cut out. Punch out all those little pieces that you'll use for your card later. And I have a little tool that I'm going to use here to punch out all the little pieces. And you can save these little pieces so that you can use and experiment with different types of layering on your card. Or, as I'm doing right here, I'm going to use the negative space to layer to create my really cool fuchsia background. All right, guys, now that we've cut all of the paper out of our beautiful die cut here, you can see that we have this amazing design. This is going to be the front piece of our card. So now, this is the fun part. You get to take any paper that you found or that you've bought recently, or even, this is a trick of mine that I have, any paper that I have left over from previous projects, maybe even wrapping paper that you have in storage or from the holidays, and you're just going to cut those out to fit right behind this die cut. And in this particular one, for this card, I'm using a really beautiful fuchsia paper, and then I'm also going to use some really fun gold to layer behind my heart. All right, so now that that piece is done, we're going to go to the front of the card, which is this guy here, and you're going to be amazed at how easy this is going to be to finish this. So what I love to use are things called either foam squares or foam dots. And if I turn this card to the side, you can kind of see them. Basically, they're self-adhesive foam squares or dots, and you're going to put those right behind the card that we just made, and then adhere it to the front of the card. And voila, you're done. Super easy, super fun, and super quick. Now get out there, enjoy, make a card of your own, and don't forget, use this easy recipe to make any card any time of the year for any occasion.
An expert in love and dating. He is crafty as heck. I love this. All right, guys, my first guest today and only guest is the host and creator of the hugely successful Finding Cupid blog, website, and radio show that plays right here weekly on UBN. He got his start in the love and dating game through the popular Bravo series Millionaire Matchmaker, where he's one of the matchmaking experts and on the show, and hopefully coming back this year on a new network. He's gearing up for one of the busiest love and dating dates of the calendar. We got Valentine's Day, less than 3 short weeks away. And he's also hosting a love ball in Los Angeles on February 6th. Very busy man. Please welcome everybody, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. David Cruz. David, how are you?
Hey, Scott, how are you? Thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. I love having part of the UBN family on. I've been listening to your show here on UBN forever, watching you when I can on Millionaire Matchmaker. You are just a busy man, and I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, it's definitely a busy time of the year. We know that Valentine's Day is coming up in just a few weeks, and I feel like this is what Santa Claus feels like as we run up to December 24th. So it's a crazy, crazy time for me. And thank you for playing that video from the Summer of Love series. That was one of my favorite things I got to do last year, and we just put those back up on my website too. So.
Oh, you can't believe it. I had to go to the website and make sure the Zizix was still around so I could order one of those things. It was fun. I'm a crafty guy. I thought it was fun as heck.
Oh, great. I loved it. Great.
Well, we're going to go into all about love and dating. We have a couple in the chat room. We might get some questions. We'll talk about Millionaire Matchmaker and your show, all sorts of good things. But let's start from the beginning in case for some reason they're under a rock someplace. You grew up in Guam before moving to California, and you kind of started your early career in writing. Tell us about the early David Cruz a bit.
Oh, yes. Early David Cruz, my favorite kind. Well, I was one of those kids. Isn't it all of ours? The early version of ourselves is always our favorite ones.
Right.
I went to school and I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to be one of those television journalists that, as crazy as this sounds, that wanted to go and report on wars and crazy destruction. I wanted to be that reporter that was out in a snowstorm or a rainstorm. I don't know why, but I was that person that was just I got to go there. That sounds really crazy and fun. How cool is that? And that's really how I started my whole interest in journalism. And went to school for it. Was the editor of my high school newspaper, editor of my college paper, and just was so into it. And it was really weird because I did an internship one year, and I just got really bored of it. And I know it sounds really strange, but I was in a newsroom, and all I could see was a bunch of reporters around me with carpal tunnels and those little bands that they have to put around their wrists because they write too much and stuff. And I really kind of was I don't know if this is where I want to be. I kind of felt like this doesn't seem as exciting and as adventurous as I thought it would be. So I took a little detour into the world of fashion, and then came back to it 5 years ago. And really, it was kind of the meeting of the perfect time and the perfect place and reasons for me to kind of go back to my original passion in life, which is writing. And that was 5 years ago when I moved to LA, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start writing again, and it's going to be about relationships and love. So that was kind of the thing that started it all.
That is so awesome. And then you end up appearing on Millionaire Matchmaker on season 3 as one of the daters for one of the clients on the show. And all of a sudden you're off after that, bringing your friends and coworkers together to start you on the path you're on now. You just start becoming this matchmaker. How did they find you for that first season?
That was all part of this very, again, serendipitous time in my life where I moved to LA because I had broken up with the person that I was dating with back then. I kind of was it was 2009, the recession was just starting, things are falling down everywhere. And I really was I just needed, it was just kind of a horrible time to, in my life at least, it was the ending of one chapter and the starting of another. And I told myself I was going to move to Los Angeles, and, a girlfriend of mine lived up here, and she's like, you have nothing to lose, move, let's just turn the new page, and let's start over. So I moved to LA, just because she was so convincing, to me. And I was found out, I was scouted out at a bar one day by one of the matchmakers for the show at the time. And, I was with a bunch of people that were actors, and they were like, oh, you should go. We should all do this. And I'm like, no, I don't do TV. I moved here to be a writer. And it was just weird because LA is like, just full of actors and models and musicians and whatnot. And I just have never been that person. Never, I just recently took my very first headshot. Like I'm not that person. I didn't come to LA for that. But I was scouted out at a bar, and and they said, just come in, do an interview with us, and then all of a sudden, I just kept thinking like it was not going to happen. It was just going to stop at some point. They would lose interest in me, and then all of a sudden, I'm like on set filming and going on a date. So it was really crazy how that happened, and it really was again the continued motion of why I should be back in LA writing about relationships and dating. And then I just kept pushing. I felt like, if it's going in the right direction and you're getting momentum from it, just keep doing it and go with it until it ends. So it's been my mantra ever since.
What really flipped that switch that made you think this is something you could keep doing and do in almost a matchmaker type of way?
Well, the thing was that, I went on that date. I went on the master date is what we call it. The client at the time chose me to go on the date at the end with the millionaire client. And it wasn't like the most amazing date. We obviously did not end up matching together, but it was really the interaction that I had with him that people were so frustrated about. I came off as this person who was just trying to have a good date and find somebody to be in love with. And the guy that I went on the date with, he was crazy. He was just like, I can't even remember exactly the specifics, but like he was people remember me from this specific episode when I say this. He was like a eco-green clothing designer, and I had ordered steak over dinner. And he was really upset at me for ordering steak. And it was just, first of all, if you're ever on a first date, you don't tell somebody not to order something. It's just in general plain bad manners. But, of course, this happened on, television. So I feel like that really resonated with a lot of people who've obviously been on a ton of bad dates. And people just kept coming up to me after the episode aired and were like, we felt so bad for you. We've been on that date, keep going and help me find love if you can, help me. And it was just like this really weird and kind of genius moment that clicked with everybody who saw that episode. And they just said, look, keep going and keep believing in love. And I thought, that's such a great feeling. So, I kind of took it upon myself to put that into my writing and eventually create Finding Cupid after that. So it's been a nice journey of how things happen.
That is so cool. Now, Finding Cupid came first before you got invited to be on the Matchmaker show, or on the Millionaire Matchmaker, right?
Yeah, so I was writing a column for Frontiers magazine, which is here in Los Angeles. And it really started as that. It started as a column about, I guess we could say a la Sex and the City. I was this young single gay man living, moving to Los Angeles, never lived in a big city before. And as you know, I moved here from an island in the middle of the Pacific. And so this is all very new and big to me. And when I moved to LA, I really was having similar experiences to dating. And it was like choosing all the wrong people, experiencing the city at the same time, having crazy adventures with friends that I'd make, and then just, living in LA life. So it was very interesting and fun. And I put that all into my column, and people loved it. I felt like I was very truthful about, how my experiences were going and being new to everything. And that's really how it started to grow from there.
That is so cool. It's amazing how common sense resonates with people.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with dating that people, relate to is that when they hear things happen to other people, they don't feel so alone. And when we're out there dating and, especially if, dates don't go well, we kind of think maybe there's something wrong with me. But the reality is that it happens to everybody. Everyone goes on bad dates. Everyone has bad luck, doing things within the dating world. So when you see it happen to other people, you kind of feel like you're not so alone anymore, and that is just part of the process.
Exactly. That is awesome. And so now you're on the show. You're helping Patty out. You're part of the team now. The one that she really bats. I mean, you see the episode where she's getting ready to get rid of everyone else but you. What was it like working on that? Who did you find? I mean, you did everyone from regular guys to celebrities. What was the most interesting date for you to work on?
Oh my gosh. It's weird because we've had a lot of celebrities on, and most especially last season. Last season was all celebrities.
Right.
And even the ones that were sprinkled into the season before, which was my first year, the truth again is that, everyone is kind of taken back to the same place, which is, starting at go. And everyone experiences the same issues. Even the celebrities that I met had the same exact issues that regular people would have. And so it was almost like it didn't register to me that, for example, that I was talking with Chili from TLC, and she was just telling me about her frustrations and how tired she is, from not finding the right person. And I just really connected with her on the level of a human being and trying to understand, that she really needs someone in her life, to complete her and to, to give her love. And it was almost like I had to remind myself that, oh my God, you're standing here touching, Chili from TLC's hand, as someone who you've bought many of her albums. And it's just like so weird. It's such a weird moment. But I mean, there's been a lot of people, but I think it's really about, how vulnerable people are in that moment that it makes me remember them. I'll always love Chili. That was just such a crazy part in my life. And then I got to meet Fran Drescher, and she came on in our finale episode to help Peter, who was the man that she was married to for a long time, who eventually came out, gay.
Right, yeah, I remember
later,
that.
But she was helping him. Yeah, and that was just such a surreal thing. So it's just funny that no matter who you are in life, love kind of levels the playing field for everyone.
Right. And one of the great things about you and about the show, too, is it shows how love is universal. I mean, between straight relationships, gay relationships, anything, it's all kind of the same thing. We're all trying to, there's rules and not rules, but there's things that you need to do to kind of successfully attract the right person and how to have a strong relationship. It doesn't matter what sex you are, right?
No, it doesn't matter at all. I think what's very obvious is that, and this is what I love about Patty, is that she is somebody that literally cuts right through the bullshit of the moment. And, we all go on those bad dates. We've all had bad interactions, bad breakups. And she is somebody that just is like, I am not here for this BS. I am here to help you find a relationship and to get to the bottom of why you have not found love in your life right now. And when you cut to that, then you kind of start to understand, these are the things that are important about relationships, and these are the things that are not important. And no matter how successful you are, you still need to make time for the other person in your life if you want a successful relationship. Money and power and all that other fun stuff can only go so far. And I think that's a big lesson that, if you look carefully into the show, you will find that.
Amen to that. I mean, I really do like all of your guys' reels. In fact, there's a question in the chat room. Can David tell us something about Patty that we wouldn't know? I really love her, but not a lot of people know too much about her. Any secret dish that you can say without getting in trouble?
I was going to say, without getting in trouble. The biggest misunderstanding is that, Patty is actually such a sweetheart. And, I spent a lot of time with her, and she is someone that people have this perception of her because of the show and whatnot. She's the kind of person that will come up to me like during the holidays, and she'll give me something because she heard me talk about something that broke in my house, for example. And she'll say, I got this for you, I hope you like it. And it's just like, Oh, that is so sweet. She's a real puppy dog deep down inside, and she loves musicals. That girl and I can sit and sing musicals like nobody's business.
Oh, how fun is that? That's awesome.
Yeah, she loves a good musical. That's I always say, let's go get drunk and sing musicals.
That is so cool. How are things coming on Wii? Does it look like everything's still a go, or what's happening there?
Yeah, so Patty, so the show is now moving to WeTV, and things we moved to a new network, so we're kind of polishing things up, getting ready for a big new return, and we're a little later than we have been. Typically the show would be on right about now. Right around Valentine's Day, but it is definitely in motion as we speak, which is as much as I can say about it, and it'll be out later. Gosh, I don't even know if I can predict when it's going to come out, but I want to say before the end of this year, not too late, but hopefully maybe even summer, and it's going to be great.
Fantastic.
Patty's an amazing businesswoman. And I think that you have yet to see what we're going to do in anything that we've done before.
Oh, congratulations. That sounds fantastic. I'm so glad.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's go a little bit into you time now and talk about your journey and what you're kind of doing in your role now. One of the things I want to tell all the listeners that impressed me the most about you, David, and we don't really know each other well yet, and hopefully we'll change that, but one of the best things that I find about you is we're getting this all set up and everything. We're trying to get the show together, and you're sending me an email at 5:33 in the morning, your time. It's 8:30 my time. I'm just getting my little happy butt out of bed, and there's an email from David from 15 minutes ago. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for this. I can't believe you're up already. Early bird catches the worm. And you go on to say that you're getting ready for your boot camp workout. You start all your days at 5 a.m. And then you send me one email there and you send me another email on the business one. I just got to say, I like someone that walks the talk. I mean, love and relationships is a lot of work, and you seem to really do the work, my friend. So I want to make sure people know that and really give you a shout out about all that.
Oh, thank you. We're in our busiest time. I have all these wonderful new writers that, not only live in LA, but some are on the East Coast as well. And I really kind of fused my worlds together by saying, okay, I'm going to join a boot camp and I'm going to go early in the morning. So it gives me a reason to get up and then kind of communicate with everyone at the same time. And then I get started on my day earlier too. But, this is the moment, like I said, and, we're our busiest. And, I just find such pleasure in my website, which is Finding Cupid. And, I created it to be a place to inspire people to love again the right way. And no matter where you are in life, whether you're single, you just got out of a relationship, just ended a bad one, or just starting a new one, or just got married, there is going to be a place for you on my website because it's inspiring. You can go there for things like, creating small DIY projects like you showed at the beginning of the show. You can go to my my marketplace. On the marketplace, I find the best curated products when it comes to love and greeting cards. And I find people that do it themselves, like small businesses that, that create things for this world of love and create it well. And I like to put them on there and feature them. And a lot of them are all small entrepreneurs and businesses from all over the U.S. And I love them. And so I try to support them and get people to buy stuff from them so that, they can not only have stuff for Valentine's Day, but, 365 days out of the year. And of course, there's my blogs and, all that other fun stuff on there. So it's just a happy place. And I want people to go there and not feel like they are just going to be bombarded by dating advice, but there's going to be fun, lighthearted things for you to enjoy.
And it really is a great site. I mean, I love checking it out. And like you said, it has all those things involved. It's www.finding-cupid.com, right?
Yes, finding-cupid.com. Somebody's got the findingcupid.com and they're holding out, but I won't pay them.
See how they are? I had that happen with one of my websites once. They wanted like $3,000 for me to get the name. It's like, you know what? I'll switch to a .org or something else. To heck with that.
when I win the lotto, I'll revisit that conversation. But as of right now, we're both holding strong.
Exactly. Well, I hope everyone goes that. We're going to have a link to it on our website. Now, let's talk about your little show here on UBN. You're here this season on UBN. You were at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. Speaking of getting up early at 5 a.m., oh my goodness. But it's another great season. You've had a couple of great guests. The Chef Fed was fantastic. You talked about dating apps yesterday. Tell a little bit about what your show is about on UBN.
Yeah, so Finding Cupid Radio is an extension of, my website, and, it's a constant evolution of, how much more can I talk about in the world of love and relationships. And the fact of the matter is, and I started this show, 4 years ago, so crazy. Things happen so fast, and it's been such a long time now. But I think that there's so many stories to tell about love and relationships that cannot be contained to just a blog or an article that I write on my website, because there's so many different layers to relationships and love, and love isn't as straightforward as it seems. Dating isn't as simple as people make it to be, and so I try to take those stories and give them new dimension on the radio show, and we'll cover things that are super lighthearted, especially around Valentine's Day. It's all about like fun things and fun guests that I can talk about. But, our world is just so crazy right now. Like literally every week there's at least 5 new apps that, I'm made aware of. There's chefs like Chef Fed who came on this past week to talk about how he teaches classes that, that encourage couples to open all of their 5 senses and how that relates back to food and love. I talk with celebrities who sing about love. Singers who sing about love, celebrities who write about love. There's just so many things out there and different perspectives. And not all the time do people who come on agree with, my kind of, cheeky, sugary point of view. And I appreciate that as well. So it's just a great place to kind of keep the conversation going and invite people to continue my conversation about making the world a better place when it comes to relationships.
Right. And like you said, it's good to have the different point of views. When you have a couple of panels that are with you normally. We had Matty on the show last week. He was so much fun. I don't know how you're trying to encourage him to date when he has to be up at 9 in the morning after a Saturday. That's just very mean of you, David. I'm telling you that ahead of time.
I know. It is very tough. I think 2 weeks ago we tried to go out on a Saturday together, and we realized very quickly, the entire team realized that it's just a very hard thing to do when we have to be up and at the radio station at 8 in the morning. But I don't know. It's part of the game, I guess.
You got to do what you got to do.
Team.
And then as part of Finding Cupid, you have this great big love ball coming up on February 6th. And you're actually teaming up with a dating app for that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's kind of I kind of feel like my life is filled with these serendipitous moments that eventually just turn into, something even greater than where it started. I did an interview for a magazine about, dating apps that were coming out, and one of the apps was Spritzer. So Spritzer is a new matchmaking app that puts friends in control of introducing single friends. And for all those times that any of us have ever had a coworker, a family member, or a close friend say, I want to set you up with somebody, Spritzer is an app that allows you to do that without the awkward, introduction in person.
Okay.
So I really love, because it's always awkward. I've had family members try to set me up before, and it's, if you're there in person, there's never a democratic way to do it. This is the best way to say it. It's always awkward if you're doing it in person. So, and how do you do it? Do it via email, do an intro email to each other. That's just as awkward too. So, what I love about Spritzer is that not only is it a great way to recommend that two people could be a great match for each other, but also it's for everyone. So no matter who you are, single or taken, you can go onto this app and make matches for other people. If you're single, you can go on there and then obviously create your profile and tell some of your friends to connect you with who they think, could be somebody good for you. So it really involves the village, as I like to say. It'll take the entire village to make something happen. And, it's very cute the way that it comes about. And it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight or anywhere in between. This is for everyone. It really is about friends connecting other single people together. And that's what the Love Ball is going to be about. We're really kind of taking the spirit of Spritzer and making it one big event to celebrate love. And I'll be matchmaking people on the app from now until the event on February 6th. And I will also be matchmaking people via the app the night of the event as well. So if you're single, please get onto the app. I will definitely be doing it remotely. And then, of course, if you're in Los Angeles or Southern California, I will be doing that at the event itself. So it's going to be a really fun night. And, of course, there'll be dancing and drinking and a fashion show and a bunch of other fun surprises, too.
That is awesome. And it's free of charge, right? And where in LA is that?
Yeah, it's free of charge, February 6th at 8 p.m. It's going to be at the Sofitel Hotel here in Los Angeles, and it's I think it's technically Beverly Hills, which is where the hotel is, the Sofitel Hotel, and it's going to be really, really fun. I mean, really the one party that is dedicated to love. And, of course, again, just like I said, just like the app, you can bring your coupled friends, and they can also be scouting for other couples or other single people that night to hook you up with. And, of course, I'll be doing my job via the app the entire night and making sure everyone's registered on the app, and then I can connect them if I see them and meet them in person, too. So it's going to be really, really fun.
That is so cool. Let's go to another question in the chat room. Question for David. How do you move forward if you're not totally physically attracted to a guy, but he really has the other characteristics you look for? How do you kind of move forward to that and just, I mean, it maybe sounds a little shallow, but it's really not. A lot of people kind of have that little stumbling block. What's your suggestions on that?
Well, this is a question that comes up a lot. And I think at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're 100% into the person that you are dating. And if there's any sort of question about it, that question will stay there for a very long time. So I always say my best advice is if you're not 100% into it, then you need to end it, because at some point you're going to find an excuse to end the relationship and then go back to that reason, which should have been your first reason to begin with.
That is great advice. Not a lot of people say that. A lot of people would say, well, you can get by it and look at the other states. But like you said, if it's something that's bothering you up front, you kind of really got to pay attention to that. It's going to keep bothering you. It's going to be somewhere in the back of your head, right? You're going to plant that seed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about being shallow. I think it's about just saying, am I attracted to this person? Do I have chemistry? Do I feel a spark with this person? You want to have that in your partner, because if you don't, I mean, that's half of your relationship is, having that physical attraction, finding them attractive, whether it's, just their eyes or, their physical body or whatever, that has to be there. It's not like, he doesn't do laundry, that you can change, but it's, if it's something like that, a physical thing, then I say, keep going. You don't need to stop there. You can find other relationships. It doesn't mean that person that just because they're giving you attention, you have to be in a relationship with them. You can find everything that you need in a person 100%, by just keep going through the process of dating.
Very good advice. Thank you for that. Okay, another question from someone named Scott. We'll call him Steve. Never mind. What is the best way to build confidence in dating? This person kind of stopped the whole dating scene. He's always been a little apprehensive about his looks and everything, and kind of moved back in to take care of a relative for 6 months, 7 months. And now he's kind of jumping back into the scene again. How do you build up that confidence to get yourself back out there?
Dating likes going to the gym. It takes a little bit of practice. And I'll say that too. I am someone that loves to, we're creatures of habit. If we're fine in an area and we're not really, being pushed out of our comfort zone by some divine intervention, we won't move, But dating, you just got to keep going. So even if it's something that's slow, you got to, maybe if you're saying, like, I haven't been on a date in 2 years, well, maybe make a goal for yourself to go on one date this month. And then next month, it's 2 dates. You really just got to get some practice into it, because if you haven't been dating in a while, it will take some getting used to. But the more that you do it, the more you will understand yourself, the new needs that you want now that you're dating today, and the kind of person that you're going to want to be in a relationship with. So as you start to learn all those things, your filter will get stronger and stronger. So, you know, maybe in the beginning of dating, you're going to say, all right, the first person that asks me on a date, I'm going to go on a date. But as your filter gets stronger and as you create more ideals of what the kind of person you should be with should have, then you won't pick some of the people, you know, that you started to pick in the beginning. It'll really be about finding the right person and then making that date, you know, somebody that is absolutely worth, you know, knowing more about. So it's really just all about practice.
Nice. I'm sure Steve appreciates that. Thank you very much for that. All right,
You're welcome, Steve.
We're running out of time so quick. I can't believe how this 1 hour show goes. I have a 2 hour show on Tuesdays, and this 1 hour just trips me up. Let's go just real quickly. We have marriage equality that happened last year. You are such a great advocate for your home territory of Guam. You actually took some time off and went back to help really solidify marriage equality there, and you got engaged this year. Talk about going back to Guam, talking about your fiance, and how did you guys meet, and tell us about what's happening there.
Yeah, last year was, oh my gosh, I mean, I remember buying the newspaper the day after marriage equality, you know, was law, and it really is kind of a moment in my life that I'm glad I, you know, am alive to have experienced. You know, last year, you know, with everything that I do, the University of Guam reached out to me and they said, hey, we'd love to have you back on the island. We'd love for you to, actually, no, let me rewind a little bit. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding. So, when the island of Guam has a governor that is Republican, and even though the United States and under the oh gosh, now I can't remember everything. So you know, now I'm stuttering. Long story short, so Guam should have been able to pass gay marriage equality on the island because it's part of the court circuit that California is under. Now, because they have a Republican governor and also they're very religious on Guam, they're very Catholic, and the Archbishop might as well be, you know, the President of the United States because he very much sways the entire island. And things are changing now, and so they were not going to allow gay marriage to happen, and I really just kind of said, I'm done with this. I cannot stand by and watch, you know, people from my hometown, you know, and members of the LGBT community be, you know, pushed back like this. And so I was just, I don't make too many videos, and so the first time I, you know, grabbed the video camera, got a couple of my friends to do this, and I basically just made a simple video that said, you know, this is my feelings, this is how I feel, this cannot happen, and this, you know, the governor needs to change his ways. And the video went viral. The news people picked it up there, and it really became the straw that broke the back there. And then the community really started to rally. And then all of a sudden, I'm being invited back to speak at the university's commencement ceremony, which is crazy, you know. And then I got at the commencement ceremony was also oh my gosh, Jim Obergefell, who was one of he's the lead plaintiff. He's the plaintiff that the marriage equality law was, you know, named after. And he and I were both there together, so it was great to travel with him, to hear about, you know, his experiences and to see, you know, how he was also helping out the island of Guam with their fight. And it was like a few weeks after he and I had left that marriage equality eventually passed on Guam. And so that was like amazing. And of course, marriage equality passed out here. And then, and this is the longest story, I'm sorry, and then eventually that summer, a few months later after I got back, that's when my boyfriend at the time proposed to me. And so it was a beautiful year of like a lot of fighting for marriage equality, and then it really kind of taking a 360-degree journey back to me, and that's when I got engaged over the summer. So I am head deep in wedding planning right now.
Oh, congratulations! That is so awesome. We have like 30 seconds left here. Let's go ahead and quick give out your Twitter and how people can find you. We know it's finding-cupid.com. Talk about your Twitter and where else they can find you, David.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at David Cruz TMM, and that's DAVID CRUZ TMM, which is the Millionaire Matchmaker. And of course, you can go to finding-cupid.com, and you can find all of the links to everything there.
It's been my pleasure having you on. I've been so excited to get you. You didn't disappoint. Thank you so much for your time. I'm actually starting a new Thursday show pretty soon, calling Healing Stigma, about different things. I think you could be a really great guest on that a couple times. So I'm going to keep in contact with you in the future, and we'll definitely have to have a cocktail when I get to LA. Thank you so much, David Cruz, for being on the Left of Str8 Show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right, and we're going to tune in on Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on UBN Channel 1. Have a great day, David.
Thanks, Scott. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that's David Cruz, everyone. So excited to have him on. I can't believe how quick the time's going. If you can really, Chris, show up those 2 slides. We got Margaret Cho coming next week, so I'm so excited to have Margaret on. She'll be here at 3 o'clock Pacific and 6 o'clock Eastern next Monday, right here on UBN Radio. Tomorrow on my Blog Talk Radio channel, I have a couple of great guests. We have Michael Hennessy. LA has a fantastic personal story all about his AIDS activism and his acting, and he's now a Reiki practitioner. So excited to have him on tomorrow, along with the co-writers and co-directors of a new film called Rainbow. That's just fantastic, about a gay bully that accidentally gets sent to a gay reform camp, which is hilarious. So a lot of fun stuff, a lot of stuff going on. Thank you so much for being part of the Left of Str8 Show. You can always check us out at leftofstr8.com for all of our previous episodes. Follow me at leftofstr8. That's LEFTOFSTR and the number 8 on Twitter and Instagram. And on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/leftofstr8 show. Chris, thanks so much for the afternoon. I hope Tony doesn't kill us for being a little bit over. I think we have a brand new Bob show coming up shortly. Anything out there in Hollywood we need to know about, Chris?
Not that I know of. Nothing to report.
All right. Well, fantastic show today. I hope we'll see you tomorrow. The replay for this will be up on the website tomorrow. Chris, thanks as always for being one of the best engineers around the business here. Congratulations on the new job. This is Scott Fullerton signing off for the Left of Str8 Show.